about this matchup. Lock looks like an incredible squad. I mean, these guys are seasoned veterans.
Yeah, we're talking about a true test, right? I think that's what this really comes down to. A new team forward, which is Zero, a very talented player, but it's a new roster all the same. And then really the Shell have been taking down players left and right. It's going to be a tough task, but I think this locked roster, they have higher aspirations than playing in qualifiers. I think they have top 10 on the mind trying to instant qualify into some of these tournaments.
See if that's the case here. You said it. There's a test for the Shell. Zero does get that initial kill. You see Rob playing very slowly there once again. And this is one of those players, kind of reminds me, you know, of like old school Halo 3, a player where you really, like a Ryan noob, you really need to keep track of this player. This is where you really need to pay attention to that kill feed. You see 3 dead, you know there's 1 player left on your side, and it's Rob. He's behind you at all times.
I love that Tony really just prioritizing using the utility on the map, right? So often things can be different if you just have the right weapon, the right tool for the occasion. And I think that's what I really love about this locked roster is all these players are very well known for going out of their way, using whatever's on the map to the best of their ability to ensure that they get the right play at the right time. So Pyle's just sitting down there waiting.
Yes. Yes,
hey, he said goodbye. You know, you thought. Come on, Pyle, challenge me.
Ooh, I love the jiggle right there. The finesse out of Tony. Gets Pyle's taken out. That's a 2 cap on the board. AC hold. Spawns will come out on the pipes from the Shell, and they're looking really solid thus far. Shell does have 43 seconds on the board, but it looks like finally Locked have locked their position on the map.
And so far, oh, Tony's seeing this pressure, and he's gonna have to back out because his teammates are nowhere close to help. But I love how instead of trying to go back into tower, he tries to stay forward, right? He's trying to make sure that he has pressure still by working on needles. Now, it's a high-risk play, and it's not going to work out for him this time, but I like the thought process that we're seeing there. Unfortunately for them, the Shell capitalizes right away. They get 4 down, and it's a 4 down in a critical moment because not only are they going to get A, but they also get away with the camouflage because of that.
Camouflage and the shock rifle in the hands of Piles here. He has to stay alive. He does not. Just Zero. A massive kill right there, but Stan's got to stick him. Stan gets a stick onto Jazero as he comes down to bottom A. Bid gets his kill as well. And right now, Locked are 3 dead once again. The Shell, the test is being stood up. I mean, they're doing a great job so far against this Locked roster.
And Stan, I mean, Stan's the important player. First player on A, doesn't really have help at the moment. So this is the Shell really depending on the crosses of their team. But Arctic with that shock rifle, he was able to get through because of that initial shot. But we talked about how important Stan is, and Stan showing that he can hold down the hill by himself when it's needed, and now rotates back towards his team. I'm loving this play from Stan.
Now they're going to potentially switch positions there. You see a player already taking that top A side. Rod the Turtle does come back. He gets the beatdown off the damage. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is some beautiful Halo we're seeing out of the Shell. This is even a level higher than the last 2 series, and they brought it at the exact right time here. 117 seconds and counting.
I love how Locked, they instantly try to find the weak spot, right? And the weak spot was at A. We saw the Shell go down in numbers just for temporary time, but that was enough to at least open up a lane for a push. Bid's gonna try to win this counter rotation by getting C, but you've already seen that once you let the players through, they're gonna take as much advantage as possible. They instantly leak through into the pipes. They have A, they have B. If you look at a top-down map right now, you'd essentially see an L on the map going straight into the back, pipes into the glass from A. They essentially have 2 crosses that are so effective at this range, a setup that is very powerful in strongholds.
That setup could be broken here as Piles does have that camo in hand. Potentially going to try and get B. Tony's going to be a big factor on top of A. I believe anyone, pretty much anyone on top of A, or even with his shock rifle in hand, can really do some damage. That's the first kill on the Bid. Or pushing through the pipes here, but Tony wants to go and assist Envor, who's trying to defend on the tower side, and now they try to overextend towards C.
Piles had the camouflage. He's waiting underneath, and he was able to take down one of the rotating players, but hit by a straight nade. I don't think that was meant for Piles, but it does the job at keeping him away from C in time for the capture to come. And now Locked, they have the setup that they want, but Piles, he's still lurking around. He's going to try to capture C, but I love how Tony and Onboard, they're a dynamic pair in this situation, able to work together. It's going to stop C for now as Tony keeps finessing his life at the back of C.
Yeah, that's a big kill for Piles, though. Because of that, they end up stopping the bleeding. Jazero stays alive as well on the bat ledge. They take out Rob. Or I'm sorry, Rob is on that C side, so he ended up going down bottom center to get away from this A side hold. And now you see Locked starting to put some time on the board for themselves. Rob does push in aggressively. He goes down. That's going to be 2 dead for the shell. Stan's going to be in the same position. Onboard gets another. Great cleanup by Stan, but the damage has been done.
Tony's trying to finish off some of the life here, and his teammates all go down. Arctic, that last player alive, not going to be able to do anything more. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like we're starting to see the shell fight their way back in. They gave up a huge run, but they still have a lead. With camouflage coming up, this is a huge opportunity for them. As you see, Log, they try to counter rotate to C, as they're going to have a better spot to fight for the camouflage from C. But Piles is the important player right here, right? He can quick flank, and I don't think anyone from Locked is ready.
Yeah, they all take some initial damage, so Piles playing the janitor here. Can he stay alive? He does. He gets one, gets naded out, though, I believe. He ends up going down. That's going to be 3 dead, but Rob the Turtle making a big play there as the last player alive continues to stay alive. That's going to be now B in the hands of Locked due to that pressure. And now the spawns come out. These are going to be staggered spawns. Actually, there's 3 of them here, but one of the spawns did spawn on the other side. I believe it was on maybe glass or C. Some great pressure coming in. Envor hitting some beautiful shots. Bid is the last player alive, finessing his life, but not enough. He goes down. And now, Locked going for that triple cap, but they will trade out C.
Yeah, right now, Locked can't fall for the trap, right? You keep the 2 cap you'll hold right here. I know they've been wanting to play for 3, but right now, what's most important is getting kills, stabilizing this position. You're still in a fragile state. You need to be able to solidify your standing, and then from there, play into the next steps.
Jazero utilizing this grapple to stay alive, throws a nade as he escapes. That nade will connect, and the assist will come out. Beautiful job by Jazero. They now do exactly what you say. They push for that triple cap. They've got a staggered spawn of 2. They do kill 1. Stan ends up spawning on the top side of pipes there, but Envor, look at his positioning on that glass side.
Yeah, and this is the perfect opportunity for Locked, right? They have this trip cap, they have shell trap, and this all comes because of how they played when they got that 2 cap. They didn't try to keep pushing into that brick wall. They waited for their opportunities, got their kills, and now even though that they die at A, what they've done is they bought so much time off this trip cap, and you're not really concerned about losing this setup. Now you have a lot more freedom to play the way that you want, and you can give up some small mistakes because of how much time you bought with this trip cap.
220 seconds and counting for Locked, starting to showcase here why this is a test for the shell. A kill comes out. That's going to be 1 down, I'm sorry, for each side. But a 2 cap continuously on the board for Locked. The rotations are clean. Tony with a shock rifle in hand once again.
Tony thinking he had that timing on Rob the Turtle, but Rob, recognizing that he got saw off spawn, played much slower than you'd normally anticipate. It was able to stay alive from those nades, but Tony not letting anyone get too far away from him, able to get that kill. And the shell needed to play basically a perfect game, but with 2 players already down, it's just one blow that can really take them out of this game.
It looks like that's going to be the blow right there. There it is, Locked are to take game number 1, 250 to 159. It looked really solid for the shell there at the very beginning, but Locked come in and showcase right now why they are the better team. The first test not going to be passed by the shell, but that doesn't mean the next one won't be. We're going to a Slayer up next. I want to take a look here. I have the stats on my screen because of beautiful Nighty. Of course, we see Arctic going 15 and 13, 11 assists out of Jazero. I mean, like that's what you like to see. We see the assist column on the side of Locked is definitely you know, out favoring the assist column on the side of the Shell. Maybe just more chemistry being involved there.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to put it. I think the chemistry from Locked is on point. I think these are all friends for the most part. Just Zero has teamed with players like Onboard before. This isn't like unfamiliar territory for this team. I think they have a lot of talent. I think this was a team that that all the players kind of expected to have a little bit better results in season 1, but are trying to figure out what went wrong and recover into this next one.
We will see if they can recover here. It's gonna be Slayer on the streets, and we talked about this before. If you weren't here though, they did obviously nerf a lot of the power weapons on this map. It's still a little bit strong. I definitely agree with you, Tools. It's definitely still a little bit strong. I think a couple more changes might be perfect. I still think you know, you lose those power weapons, you're essentially, especially in a Slayer game, you're essentially, that swing is gonna be huge. But they did add those red racks. They increased it to a minute from 15 seconds, by the way. It used to be 15 seconds, and now, you know, Bulldog is a minute, etc. But here we go. The answer back needs to happen here. The Shell down 1-0 against Lock. This is their test. Will they pass? Here we go.
Right, so often this map's going to come down to the utility usage, right? Who gets the weapon control, who is able to use it more effectively. And right now, Onboard, he's knocking on the door. That Bulldog barking real loud, but not quite able to find that final shot. But what has happened is that Locked has basically gotten everything off start except for the red gun, which is they really didn't have access to.
With all of those power weapons, they're only able to get a 2-kill lead though. Rockets have been utilized already. You see at the bottom right corner of Arctic's screen, Bid does get a huge kill onto Arctic. They're starting off this game 4-1. They both end up going down though, him and Piles. And because of that, a 2-kill lead here for Locked as the Shell potentially spawning on this seaside.
Right now, what's so interesting about this game thus far is we haven't really seen these fast pushes that you usually see in the objectives. It's been a very slow and methodical game from both of these teams. And I have a feeling when you see games like this, it's going to come down to how effectively you can be put on offense, right? The offensive pushes on Slayer, I think, are some of the hardest to grasp because there's nothing to tie you down into a lane like an objective. It's all about the slays. So there's just so many more defensive opportunities to take advantage of because of it. And so often you'll see the team that doesn't push that actually comes out on top in many engagements. So I think the way you push is always important when you're talking about a Slayer.
Agreed, and it looks like they do push to get space on the map just to get these rockets. Piles does get 1 kill so far. It was a 2v2 trade. But now you see Locked kind of moving away from those rockets. They're gonna allow Piles to miss. He does clean up 1. That's gonna be a huge kill. Still gets that value that he was looking for. A 15-13 lead. Shell, because of those rockets, do have that 2-kill lead here. Can they continue? Right now, Piles is in a weird spot, but Bid trying to take the pressure off of him, and he does just that.
Right now, Bid, he's calling for his teammates to come back because he saw that player pushing. But unfortunately, I think that might come to their disadvantage. As you saw, it was only 1 player. It was a fake out, and he thought that, hey, everyone's coming from this side, so he tried to get his team in motion. But it was really just a bait the entire time. Opened up the flank, and well, Locked able to get behind everyone and take the lead.
Someone mentioned this to me the other day, and I 100% agree. Halo is just literally chess with guns and maps. I mean, it's plays like that make it so interesting to watch. Arctic gonna push aggressively here. Stan's gonna share the same thing. Look at the big shot! Oh my word! That is beautiful. The big shot comes through. That trade could be very huge here as this game goes on. But as we say that, Locked 24-17. They maintain and continue to grow this lead.
Stan's that guy in matchmaking, you know what I'm saying? He makes himself a hard kill. The jiggle. It makes the man wiggle. It's bad over there, the way that Stan's making players miss. And oftentimes it's those 1 kill differences that can make and break a Slayer. You know, finding the trades in unlikely positions are so important to your success.
As Gunplexion would say, it's all in the hips. And of course, Stan looks like he has the hips here. 4-8 though to start this game. You know, KD doesn't matter too much at this level, but we're talking about a 10 kill deficit now that Locked has been able to grow. And again, we talk about these power weapons. Once again, that Bulldog in the hands of Tony, utilizing it, and it seems that Locked have had the control this entire game.
Now, with the numbers being about even, Arctic needs to stay alive, right? He knows that this pressure is coming. He's calling for his team to get here, and this Shroud Screen's been effective. He's basically taken on a 1v2. He's begging for his teammates to get here, and they come just in time. Onboard is, I mean, Arctic is still alive.
Wow.
How does the man get away with that?
And that's what I've talked about with this Shroud Screen. We still have not seen the best of it. He was able to wiggle in. You can barely see through it. If you push through it just a little bit, you can barely see through it, but you get that information, and that's all he needed. He played his life incredibly with that Shroud Screen, and because of that, a 38-26 lead for Locked here. I don't see Shell coming back in this game. I mean, it's gonna take a miracle, but it's also gonna take a lot, just a lot more, you know, bait and switching, a lot more chemistry and teamwork coming out of this squad. I just feel like Locked are just so aggressive, and I've really just set this Shell team back. A 10 kill lead being maintained here. Trades is all they need to close this out.
Yeah, I've been impressed with the way that Locked play in the heat of the moment, right? When you're one shot and players are pushing in, how do you get max value out of your life? That's where Locked has been so impressive. Players like Arctic and Onboard, every time you think they're about to go down, they somehow finesse their life. They get just one extra kill, and that's just been adding up throughout this game. And now it's at a breaking point where this with these rockets coming up in 10 seconds, really this is the last chance for the Shell to do anything. Unfortunately, we do see one player does crash out of this game. Well, we have a 13 kill deficit. I'm not sure when it happened. We'll have to get a ruling from the admins on what is to happen based on that result.
Man, I was gonna say that you know, I'm good luck because there hasn't been any crashes during my cast thus far, but I'm wrong apparently. But it is all good. We will get you guys a ruling as soon as possible. One of the things I do want to talk about again though is just the idea that, you know, Locked just had full control of everything in that game consistently. Even the Stalker, we talked about them not having the Stalker in the beginning, but every single weapon. And it looks like Bid is gonna say next game y'all had that. That is good. You know what, I love that. Bid, I love you, bro. That you know, it's not like I don't want to cast another game. Like, I would love to cast these guys again. I just think that's very good sportsmanship right there. I think that's, you know, very professional to say something like that and just kind of let it go and let it be and move on.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that that game was basically out of reach, they do that. I do want to give a moment. We're going to step out just for a moment, and I want to give a shout out to our folks over in the Latin American region. It looks like Easy Esports Latin gave us a raid. I just want to say, you know, hope the show was all good over there. I'm doing all this just to ask who qualified over in LATAM, but that's cool that we're seeing so many more regions getting coverage. Love that the quadrant coverage that we saw today. The LATAM's doing their thing over there. I think Mac's been working over at the ANZ. I think this has been a great time for Halo. If you're trying to just watch Halo, there's been more options than I feel like there's ever been. So you know, shout out to everyone that's doing their role. We'll keep picking up what we can do over here at LBT. But you know, just wanted to say appreciate everyone that's been putting in the work. And we're gonna go into a game 3, and this could be our potential last one. King of the Hill live fire, and I love some King of the Hill, and I love it on live fire in particular because it doesn't feel like there's that one milk hill. Like, there is that top mid hill, but it feels like an oddly easy hill to hold on to. I feel like this is like one of the most. I think this is like the only map that King of the Hill truly works on, in my opinion. I love some live fire King of the Hill.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the hills are very, I love that. I love that you described it that way. I agree with you that a lot of the hills are definitely like very even and balanced. And I think it's definitely one of my favorite game types. I liked Recharge, but you know, Recharge King of the Hill, when it first came out, it became my favorite game type. But then just kind of seeing, like you said, like that, like for instance, that second hill, you know, that second hill on Recharge, once you have it, once the team has it, it's pretty much over. Like, breaking that setup is nearly impossible. So it's good to see like a balanced kind of map like Live Fire. It's been around since day one. We've played many a times on this map, but definitely enjoy it. And yeah, a shout out to the community, you know, everyone that's sticking on through, you know what I mean? Like we all love this game, and obviously, you know, things are not where I'm sure everyone would imagine, but we're getting there. And in the fact that we all love this game and we continue to put effort towards it, shout out to LVT, shout out to all of the broadcasts out there. It's incredible to be able to watch and cast Halo and continue to do so, hopefully for many years to come. But like you said, in this game number 3, I mean, we're talking. I really do think that Shell are ready to. I think they're ready to just say, you know what, we'll toss that game, but we're coming out with some fire for these next couple of games. You know, there's a potential reverse sweep we're talking about here. The reset is happening. The mental reset has been completed. They toss that game. They take some time to get their players in. Look, it's all strategized right here. They're taking time to get their players in. They're resetting the mental, and then they come back, bam, nice and strong, reverse sweep. What do you think?
I think that's wishful thinking. I think what I'm saying for Arctic, On Board, and all of them, I think they're playing clean games. I have this one going down in 3. In this one, we did see that in our secondary observer. We are in the other qualifying match, which is Kratos' team versus Yaxon's team.
Okay.
I'm sure. I'm thinking if this one gets done early, we might be able to see the other one as well. But nonetheless, we'll keep you guys updated with that as this goes on. We're seeing a lot of milk, and it looks like we're going to continue seeing milk. So while we see the milk, I have I'm going to bring the gospel of ads. But before we get into the gospel of ads, I wanted to say, you know, just like how hybrid. Dude, this is like the worst game, the worst tag I could have costly gotten to do this. Hybrid Comicus. Oh, thanks for the sub, bro. Thanks for the sub. If I said it wrong, I appreciate you. You should correct me, but I appreciate the sub. And you know, if any of you guys are wanting to sub to the channel, you can do that. You won't see any more ads. You know, that's always a benefit. It does directly support us. We don't have any big organization behind us today. It's just all us, all passion. We do a revenue share model with all the casters and people working behind the scenes. So, you know, the ads really do help with that. And so does the sub money that we can directly rely on as well. So if you've been thinking about subbing, this is truly a community effort. You know, we're not a big company or anything like that. We're just a community driven group of people that have been working our hearts